Reignmakers community, welcome to the 2023 Reignmakers Football Kickoff Keynote. I'm Chirag, Hira, Manager of Content at DK Network, and I'm here with DraftKings co-founder and President of DraftKings North America, Matt Kalish. As we're here nearing the start of the second season of Reignmakers Football, Matt, thank you for joining us for the 2023 Reignmakers Football Kickoff Keynote.
I'm excited for year two, Chirag. The first season of Reignmakers Football taught us a lot, and our awesome team has been working diligently behind the scenes to ensure our customers have an even better experience this season.
Seeing how those improvements have taken shape has been great. The growth of Reignmakers Football since the first season kicked off has truly been a sight to behold.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Looking back, how we were starting out a year ago versus where we are now, the game has only gotten better. And that's a result of not only our team, behind the scenes working, but also the great feedback we've received from our players and that valuable relationship with our community. It's been so pivotal to the growth of Reignmakers Football this offseason.
And that's what today's all about, the Reignmakers Football community. We've got a lot to share with you all, but what better way to kick that off by getting a first look at one of this year's new pack designs.
Really great work. But, like you said, Chirag, there's so much more to be discussed beyond these designs. The new tools are going to be huge for players, and the 2023 field passes are here.
Those field passes are going to be so clutch. And don't forget about all the prizing.
Yep, over 30 million in prizing this year. That alone is reason enough to be excited. But like we keep saying, there's so much more for you to get into. I just want to thank again, all of our loyal customers and our hardworking team, for making Reignmakers continue to develop in such an impressive manner. I cannot wait for this season and to get it going.
Well said. Thank you again for helping us kick off the keynote. It's time to get into some of those major improvements with Nick Friar. But before you do that, you want to take part in this Q&A session with daylightcat from the Reignmakers Football community. So let's check in with daylightcat before we talk about some of the general product improvements.
Thank you, Chirag, and a big welcome to our amazing Reignmakers community. What a way to kick things off, hearing from the big man himself too. The cat's out of the bag with the new design, but we've got plenty more to cover with an agenda featuring general product improvements, the contest plan and prizes, franchise score details, set structure and cadence, and finally, a field pass overview right at the end. You will not want to miss that. But then after each of those segments, we'll also be hosting a live Q&A with various team members who have worked behind the scenes to ensure the best product, experience, and offerings are available to everyone in our Reignmakers community. As always, we welcome your questions to the team. And since I won't be there answering them, keep them spicy. It's totally fine. Just make sure to tag in one of the Discord team when asking your questions, just so we can pick it up and make sure that they're put into the Q&A. So yeah, let's get into our first subject, which I think is product improvements.
Now, let's welcome in Nick to talk about some general product improvements to Reignmakers since the end of last football season. Hey Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing real well, Chirag, ready to talk some Reignmakers football.
One of the improvements I loved was the trade-in portal, which launched following the big game.
For sure. The initial round of recipes gave collectors the opportunity to start building their 2023 Reignmakers football collection. And while 2022 Reignmakers football cards are still eligible for gameplay in 2023, DraftKings continues to roll out additional recipes to help Reignmakers players get a head start on the next football season.
Additionally, there are plenty of new features we haven't even mentioned.
This includes the offers feature, which allows Reignmakers players to make offers on collectibles and packs in other customers' portfolios.
The players page, which allows members to look into the data surrounding their player cards while scrolling through the Reignmakers site.
And bulk entry, which allows players to upload their many lineups all in one shot. All those and more, plus what's coming soon to Reignmakers football, is going to be discussed in the Q&A.
Additionally, we have quite a few partners like Stream NFT, Own the Moment, Lucky Trader, and CryptoSlam that integrate these tools into their products, helping streamline, simplify, and educate the community on how to use these tools to their advantage. And we appreciate their passion for improving the game, just like everyone here at DraftKings.
Definitely want to thank our partners for all their contributions to the game and in Discord as well. We love sharing their tools, content, and wins with the community. We're excited to see what additions they make this season, along with what our Reignmakers team has in store for everyone. But now we have Peter here from the Reignmakers product team as we dive into some of the burning questions from the community. Hi, Peter. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you. Yes, I guess as we wait for some questions to come in from the community, I'm going to ask one or two of my own. So let's hope these aren't too bad. I'm going to start out with the franchise score leaderboard, actually. The community have been really looking for updates or news on when that might start becoming more of an automated or real-time even process. Do you have any updates for us on that?
I do. So we've been working hard on franchise score, trying to make it a little bit simpler for this year and also trying to make it more automated in a way that a user can see their score in real time. So early in the NFL season, we are planning to have a user's score update in near real time, and the leaderboard itself, we're looking to update at least every 2 hours. So that will be 7 days a week, at least every 2 hours, and personal scores updating in real time.
Awesome. I guess, a big topic of the video we just saw was the tools that are in development now. What tool do you think will be the most valuable for Reignmaker players this year?
I'm really excited about the players page. I think it's just such a streamlined shopping experience. It makes it much easier to quickly view player stats and really understand matchups and target specific players. Makes it easier to find stacks and then ultimately compare players as well. So really trying to get more information to the user and making it a little bit easier and more streamlined for that shopping experience. So I'm personally really excited about the players page, but there's a lot of different things we're excited about, including the offers functionality, the bulk entry, but players page is probably top of mind for me.
Awesome. So I guess staying on the players page then, so obviously the player stats are now easily accessible. Are there any future integrations for player stats and live updates within that feature?
We do have some other items we're hoping to add to the players page in the future. We're hoping to make it easier for users to understand who they already own when they're scanning that page, and also incorporate a little bit more detailed player stats that vary by sport, and try to pull in more player card-like features as well, where you can easily view a game log, opponent details, and things of that nature. So definitely planning for more stats there, and some other that are likely to come this football season as well.
Awesome. Guess it'd be interesting for the community to learn a little bit of insight into how we as a team even decide which tools to create, and what's coming, deciding what's going to come for this new season.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely a lot of different inputs kind of factor into ultimately what we build and when. There's a number of different teams we partner super closely with, including the Discord team, the user research team, the analytics teams, the operations and marketing teams. And ultimately, we're looking to reduce user friction, learn from our internal data about, where might users be struggling, where do they get errors, where do they drop off. But then it's also really important when we actually speak to users, take user surveys, and understand, from a user's perspective, what could be easier, what's confusing, what might be difficult. And then ultimately, we're also looking to educate people to help grow the game. We have a lot of fantasy players on DraftKings, but there's definitely a learning curve getting up to speed on the Reignmakers side. So really looking to fine tune that first time user experience and help them better understand the game and what makes Reignmakers awesome and why they should ultimately be playing the product. So a lot of different inputs and a lot of collaboration internally goes into what we do and when. And ultimately, number one is making sure we have a stable website and we have a great engineering team supporting us. So making sure everything works as expected when we have our peak traffic on Sundays, getting ready for football season. But a lot of different teams and inputs factor into what we decide to build and when.
It's time to talk about the contest and prizing roadmap for this season. We know this is a top priority for the community.
This year, we will have more packs available for prizing, including the chance to win 2023 packs from contests exclusively available to 2022 card holders. Also, lower contest tiers will feature higher rarity card pricing So Reignmakers competitors can build their collections and level up in rarity simply by playing the game.
DraftKings is emphasizing this graduation element and rewards as you achieve certain milestones. Those rewards are just part of the total prizing of $30 million for the second season of Reignmakers football.
That's going to include in-year guaranteed prize pools, 2022 card GPPs, DFS satellites, Reignmakers World Championship, and special contests.
That's a lot, but that's not all.
For 2023 cards, there's going to be $1 million in prizing per week through the big game. That $1 million will be broken down by rarity tier, core through Reignmaker, and further by game type. We're talking showdown, classic, and deep roster.
In the Q&A, we'll go over the structure of those contests along with the structure and roster requirements for the 2022 card eligible contest.
All right, hopefully we have sound up and running now. Sorry about that, everyone. But this is probably the meaty section, contest plan and prizing. We know that winning's kind of a big deal for everyone, so this should be fun. We have a lot to discuss here, and I'm joined by Vince to answer some of your questions. How's it going, Vince?
How's it going, Greg? Excited to kick off the season.
I'm excited. This is the first time I've seen you without a hat.
Yeah, hopefully the lights aren't making too much of a glare.
Awesome. So yeah, it's a pretty big topic, so we may as well dive straight in here. So what type of contests will 2022 cards be eligible for? Like, what are the requirements for these contests? Will there be any additional prizing beyond cash, etc.? Just really keen to understand how the 2022 cards are going to play a part.
Sure, yeah. So we're going to have, as everybody saw on that chart there, $2.2 million across the entire season allocated to 2022 cards from last year's collection. That'll be broken down effectively in contest prizing that equals $100K per week. And that just covers the cash component of things. So we'll also have ability to win NFTs, whether it's packs or collectibles in featured player contests, and also some DFS satellite opportunities, as people saw to our featured Millie Makers on the football side.
Fantastic. So what would you say is the biggest difference between the new contest structure from last year, actually, sort of the prizing offerings as well as the distribution across those contests?
So a couple different things, one of which you already mentioned. Obviously this season we have 2 ongoing collections that we'll be offering contests for. Last season's collection, the 2022 cards, and the current season's collection, 2023 cards. In addition to that, you'll have some of the contest types that we offered last year that people liked, like deep roster, classic, showdown, all of that coming back for 2023. In 2022, we'll be looking to feature more, at least for weeks 1 through 18, the deep roster format for the 2022 cards specifically. And then once the playoffs start after week 18, we'll be shifting to combination of classic and showdown for those. 2023 collection will feature all of the contest types that we ran last year that I previously mentioned, in addition to cash prizing, packs, the DFS satellites. We've got, probably saw on the chart, the Reignmakers Football World Championship that will run again for 2023. So we'll be running qualifiers for that throughout the season as well. And then in terms of just changes for the mix, one of the big things that we heard through the community last season was how the prizes were distributed amongst the higher tiers, specifically Elite, Legendary, and Reignmaker. So one of the things that everybody will notice this season is for Elite, Legendary, and Reignmaker, at least for cash prizing, the way we're breaking that up is it's going to be a little bit more flat, so folks can really get a better sense and kind of really feel the better expected value from the higher tiers with the lower entries that are possible, since there are fewer cards, of course. So that'll be a main thing. And then one of the other slight changes for this season as well will be throughout the season, the cash prizing at core will start to decrease a little bit, and some of those dollars will shift towards Elite, Legendary, and Reignmaker. So those prizes will go up as core starts to go down. So we'll be providing kind of a more detailed week over week distribution by rarity tier. I know everybody's really excited to get their hands on those details, but you'll really see that come through, I think, be one of the big points.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Vince, because I'm seeing quite a few comments in the Discord already about this. So obviously our eagle-eyed community are noticing that the weekly contest pricing in 2022 was slightly higher than the 2023 contest pricing we've shown in the chart. Do you want to kind of really emphasize just where that pricing is going so that we can better understand that $30 million basically?
Sorry, Greg, I missed the first part of that question. My earpiece came out.
Okay, I can try and make it up again.
Yep.
So basically, the community have noticing that perhaps that the 2022 contest distribution or the weekly pricing is was a little bit higher than the 2023 that we've shown in the chart this year. Do you kind of want to break that down a little bit for us as to why there's a difference there and where that pricing in fact is going instead?
Oh, gotcha. Of course. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. So. The 2023 card collection, which we'll run GPP contest pricing. So this is more, last year we called these contests like Fiat Frenzy, or we had different single entry variations, but that 22.4 million is mainly focusing on that cash pricing bucket that everybody's familiar with. So the way that's going to break out, sorry, Greg, the question was how that aligns with last year?
Yeah, basically we're saying it's $30 million total this year. Obviously, there's not as much going into the weeklies. So do you want to kind of really showcase where this money is actually going?
Yep, of course. Sorry about that. All right, so you have the $1 million for the Reignmaker Football World Championship, which is broken out separately here. Last year we kind of sprinkled that in along with the other contests in last year's chart. You also see the line item for special events, the $3.4 million. So this is an important one that will be very impactful for 2023 collection contest pricing. So this will be including things like the Holiday Millionaire, and other kind of special set gating type contests that will be sprinkled out through the 2023 season. So that's incremental to the $22.4 million that's shown for 2023. Also already mentioned the satellites, that'll be sprinkled in on top of that. And then of course you have contests for featured player prizing, the different prize packs, the pack party contests as well. So a lot of things to be excited about when it comes to pricing for 2023.
Awesome. And we've noticed a lot of success in our other Reignmakers products with experiential pricing. Do we plan to offer anything like that in Reignmakers football this year? Yeah,
so obviously the one big experiential component that's built into Reignmakers, and a lucky few got to experience it last year, would be the Reignmakers Football World Championship. We're not yet ready to share details on the location, but we will be operating that again, and of course comes with the experience of attending that live final, competing against your peers to be the Reignmaker champion of 2023. So we'll have that. In terms of other experiential prizing for 2023 season, we have a couple concepts that are in the works, but nothing that we're ready to share at this time in particular.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a couple more questions coming in that Midnight Duck is feeding me here. So what's an example of some special event? They're wondering like field pass contest, or you can give any kind of examples of that.
So did mention the holiday contest. I don't want to spoil some of the stuff we're going to get into. Some of the stuff we're going to get into later around some of the special sets we plan to have throughout the season, but some of those sets will come with specific contest-gated pricing that is in that $3.4 million bucket.
Awesome. And also, do we have any smaller contests with lower max entry type ones? Some more payout spots in certain contests that had prizes concentrated just at the top, basically. The community's just asking for some smaller ones, not huge entry ones.
Yep, so we experimented a lot with this last year, and I think it will generally vary by slate that we run, so there might be differences between the types of contests we offer for showdowns versus classic. But focusing on the bigger slates, I think you'll see a variation similar to last year, where we'll have some single entry contests, some more deeper payout style contests, where, I think last year we did what we called a bankroll booster, where 50% or a certain number of people were awarded a flat prize amount versus having to kind of compete with a very steep curve for our guaranteed prize pool style featured contest. But we'll have a pretty big variation between the big top prizes that people like, single entry, maybe experiment a little bit with 3 entry max, and then the bankroll booster style contests.
Awesome. All right. I know we're pretty early into the keynote, and this is just a second topic, but last question for you, Vince. What are you most excited for this season with Reignmakers?
What am I most excited for? I think we don't have a ton allocated to this year, but I think taking all the learnings that we had from last year and really putting that into kind of the onboarding experience that we plan to have for the 2023 season, round that out, apply those things to contest prizing, some of the features that Peter mentioned in the first part. Really excited to kind of see those implemented throughout this Reignmaker season. A lot of that work was done in the off season, and we've seen that in our other Reignmakers products so far, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how all of those things apply to football. I think it's going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Vince. That wraps it up. And I think you're coming back later to talk about another topic as well. So
sure am. Looking forward to it.
Face one more time. All right. So now let's dive into everyone's second favorite subject, franchise score.
Another way to win is through franchise score, where you get rewarded for your digital card collection.
Season 2 and its off-season offer $2 million in franchise score prizing.
The snapshot structure is more simplified this year, so collectors get a shot at bigger payouts throughout the season.
And we're further integrating the franchise score element of the game, implementing the #1 requested feature from everyone's feedback. There will be a franchise score attribute added to every card, and there will be automated franchise score updates in nearly real time, including on weekends. This will launch early in the regular season.
This is going to be huge, especially for those looking to crack the top 10 in franchise score, because again this year, the top 10 players on the overall leaderboard earned Reignmaker World Championship entries.
Throughout the season, there will be 2 leaderboards. There's the overall leaderboard, which will keep track of your cumulative score for your entire collection all season long. Then there's the featured drop leaderboard, which will track your scoring during exciting parts of the season to win prizing.
More will be covered in the Q&A, but get ready for the first snapshot coming for the first game of the preseason.
1.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've already heard about real-time updates on franchise scores, so I get to avoid that question this time. But I have a really strong feeling that the first question when it comes to franchise score will be, why are we no longer doing weekly drive leaderboards and snapshots? Luckily for Dan, who joins me now, that's exactly where we're going to start.
Hey, daylightcat, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I like that you're just jumping right in. But,
Love it. Throw you right in at the deep end.
Yeah. Why avoid it, right? We're really excited about the franchise score format this year, and we've taken a ton of learnings over the past year, not just through the football product, but also through our PGA Tour product and UFC. And so really excited to apply those learnings to this year. A couple of things as it relates to weekly drive. One is how do we continue to simplify the experience? That was one. We wanted to be able to offer much bigger payouts, and I think that happens with some consolidation of snapshot dates is one. And I think the other part is we've certainly gotten a lot of customer support tickets. I think if you look at maybe the number of all of our sports and happening all together, a lot of questions about what's this payout for, or is this the right score, and so on. And I think helping to simplify the experience is super important. And then the third thing really for us was, we've been listening to the community, watching some of the engagement with the product, and have certainly saw that there might have been some players that might not be upholding the fair play or game integrity of the product itself. And so as we were looking at the weekly drive, we were like, how do we kind of maybe emphasize this without necessarily like spreading it across so many weeks. And one of the things we'll be introducing this year is our drop-based leaderboards. There'll be a number of snapshots tied to this drop-based leaderboard that'll run at we call our special moments throughout the season. So I think with all those factors, Greg, we're excited about the new format here.
Thank you, Dan. It's only twice now I've been doxxed in one show, so that's a new record for me. So yeah, basically, I've been building on that then. The community are definitely asking when snapshots. So do you have any insights for us into snapshots for year 2?
Yeah, the first monthly snapshot will be August 10th. That's a Thursday. And that will be a 150K total prize pool. So we're really excited about that one. And then we're committed to announcing snapshot dates a lot earlier than I think you've seen from us in the past too. So the next one after that will be in early September, and we'll follow coming out of this presentation with a more detailed list of those monthly snapshot dates.
I was kind of hoping you had all of that memorized and that you could share it all, but we're good. So obviously there's a lot of talk about ending weekly drive, and obviously the prize fund that went into that. Can you really just like share and stress just like how we're reusing that prize fund, and to make sure that actually we're not giving less, we're just giving a little bit more this year? I just want to really make sure that we're able to accurately explain that.
Yeah, great question. So it will be just over $2 million within the total franchise score pay pool. And 75% of it you'll see actually appear in the cumulative monthly scores, and the other 25% in those special drop-based, what we're calling drop-based leaderboards as well. And then what I think is also nice is consolidating a lot of those payouts into the regular season timeframe. I think last year we had them spread out across the entire season, and you'll see the majority of the payouts happening through the end of this year. With still some happening next year. However, definitely wanted to be able to pay our players during the time of year when there's the most NFL activity happening.
Awesome. I can confirm our players love getting paid, so that's a great thing to hear. Speaking of such things, though, that obviously excites our players, when it comes to franchise score, what excites you the most this year?
I think Peter already touched on it. It's the improved UX. We're super excited. We've been hearing the feedback for quite some time now, and I know the product and technology teams have been diligently trying to figure out how to implement a lot of these changes. And so some of the stuff that Peter mentioned, like the real-time score updates and the leaderboard rankings, like updated pretty consistently, even like through weekends. That to me, I think, is going to increase the experience with franchise score. And then, as I touched on a bit already, is continuing to simplify round out the game, apply these learnings that we've seen over the past year across the sport offerings, and make sure that our players have a great experience with franchise score. We've heard it's an area that they're very passionate about, and I think that excites us because it's a layer of the game that we really love as well too.
Love it. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions coming through at this point, so I guess I'll throw you a wildcard question. Actually, no, one did just come through. The duck is on it. The community are basically asking if we can get the snapshot payout breakdowns much sooner. I feel like perhaps they don't want them too late into the season or just too late to make some decisions. So are we able to get the breakdowns as well as the dates fairly soon?
Yeah, we will be able to at least put out the actual breakdown by month. And then the dates we should be fast following in the next couple of weeks too.
Awesome. So in the next couple of weeks we should think something like that. That's what we hear. Awesome. All right. Got to hold you to that now. It's on video.
Great.
All right. So last question for you. I heard a rumor, and that rumor might have been from you when we did the soft run of this, that you like gelato, Dan. So what's your favorite flavor gelato?
Oh, man. You're too easy on me, Greg.
I was.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go pistachio. I know that seems like a wild card flavor, but anyone that's had gelato and that's had a good pistachio, knows what true love is.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you, Dan, for sharing all of that on Franchise Score. As I said, we've got more news to come on that, on the breakdowns and the date, so stay tuned for that. We'll be sharing all of that on the Reignmakers pages, DK Network, as well as the Discord as well, so be sure to keep an eye on that. But thank you so much, Dan. Right now, though, we're going to head on over and talk about set structure. This should be fun.
Now, let's talk set structuring and check in on the tokenomics. We already gave you a preview of one of the 2023 set designs, and this season, most of the 2023 cards will come from our 3 headline sets. Headline sets are something we're introducing this season.
The 3 sets will be Play Action, Rush, and Air It Out. Cards from those sets can be obtained in multiple ways. There's pack drops, auctions, pack breaks, DFS contests, the trade-in portal, and Reignmakers prizing.
The Play Action set is the first headline set to become available. This set carries a 3x franchise score multiplier and access to half of the Reignmakers World Qualifier seats. The first drop will occur on August 3rd, and this drop includes 2 premium level SKUs with top league talent and rare plus tiers only to accelerate your roster building.
By the way, there will also be a preseason pack included in this set's drop that will feature depth players and give users access to preseason contests to win 2023 packs.
After the Play Action set drops, Rush is next. The first Rush set drops at the very end of August with a 2x franchise score multiplier and the special community-driven challenge to unlock up to $500K in additional prizes.
The Air It Out set won't be available until mid-October. This final set will feature players that are posting breakout seasons who were not originally featured on the original checklist for Play Action and Rush.
Air It Out set includes special off-season recipes for the 2024 Reignmakers football cards and the largest franchise score value of any set this season at 5x.
On the note of value, 2023 will also feature side sets. Some of these side sets can only be found in packs alongside each headline set, corresponding cards included. Hunt cards are extremely scarce and only exist in a small percentage of packs, which means they come with major benefits.
There will be 4 side sets: Royal, International, Holiday, and the Supercharged Reignmaker.
The Supercharged Reignmaker set is an exclusive set only available on the break by DraftKings platform. Supercharged Reignmaker cards are Reignmaker tier cards with multi-year utility and eligible for 2023 gameplay. And they allow Reignmakers players to trade that card in for the 2024 version of that same player using a crafting token.
The Royal set allows you to earn crowns based on in-game player performance, and the International side set is the only way you can access Showdown contests for this season's 5 scheduled international games. Those 5 Showdown contests will offer a combined $500K in total prizing.
Then there is the Holiday set. Like last year, we will be bringing back gated holiday contests specifically on Thanksgiving. If you have a full roster of those holiday cards, you will be able to compete for this year's lone Reignmakers Millionaire Maker.
You can learn more about the side sets along with the 2023 Reignmakers football headline sets during the Q&A.
Yeah, and we are back. That was seamless, Matt. I don't think if we don't say anything, no one will have noticed it was that good.
I don't think anything happened on my end. We're good. I think we're good, Daylight Cat. Let's get rolling.
We are
here.
good.
Got a lot to talk about.
Do it. How are you doing today, though? Let's start
Outstanding. Can't complain.
Yeah, you've been enjoying the news so far?
I have been, yeah. It's a really exciting process to go through a second year of a product, that we've basically built from the ground up, right? We learned a lot in the first year, and I think a lot of that comes through in the designs for the second season. Sets are no exception. So really excited to dive into the questions and clear up any questions folks have.
Right. We've been rounding up questions since earlier today as well, and we've got a few to get through. So I'm going to dive in with some of these.
Let's go.
First one. Are there going to be any addition counts per player position and rarity tier changing at all versus 2022?
No. So at the Elite, Legendary, and Reignmaker tiers, which are the 3 highest tiers of rarity within the game, the number of additions that we'll be producing in 2023 will match the amount that we produced in 2022. Core and Rare will follow the same rules as last year as well, which means that we will never produce more than 25% the number of Rares as we have of Core. But similar to last year's plans, we will continue to produce Core and Rare to the extent that there's demand for it. So popular
community favorites like the booster packs, starter packs, etc. We'll continue to produce those to get folks into the game, but we'll never break that 25% rule. We'll also not exceed the stated elite, legendary, and Reignmaker edition counts that we are carrying over from last year as well.
All right, I'm getting a few questions coming in live as well, so I think we could be here a while today, Matt, you and I.
This is comfortable. That's all right. Yeah, let's go.
So, first one, no wired set, question mark.
Yeah, no wired set. I mean, we're going to address the wired set by way of just introducing players into those 3 headline sets that Chirag and Nick covered earlier before this Q&A session. So when a player, an athlete, gets introduced to the overall Reignmakers checklist, we'll be adding them into the Aired Out set, which drops starting in mid-October. Introduce new players to the overall checklist as they become relevant in real-life NFL season. But we won't be giving them their own dedicated set. I mean, really at a high level, we're trying to consolidate the total number of sets that we offer in 2023 in order to reduce confusion or duplication. So we don't need a prize set or a wired set or a crafting set to get those cards into the community. We want to keep them within these 3 primary headliner sets, which carry all the great utility that was covered in this sequence before this.
Awesome. And there's a few questions coming in around the Showdown International, which I know is a new set that we're introducing. Yeah. So let's get into some of these.
Sure.
First question is just looking for clarification if you can enter those with normal cards.
Yeah, so for every one of our side sets or hunt sets, we kind of use those terms interchangeably. For any of those sets, the cards themselves act just like any other card within the Reignmakers universe in the terms of being able to be used in any contest, provided that the rarity tier of that underlying card meets the contest rarity requirements, right? So if you have a rare card from the international set of a player that plays in a Sunday in week 12, it'll still be usable just like any other rare card. What's special about the international set specifically is that you'll need cards from that set to compete for the special prize pool of $500,000 spread out in $100,000 increments on all 5 of the planned international games this upcoming football season. You'll need these cards in order to build a lineup to compete for that special 100K contest in each of those 5 showdowns. These contests, to be clear, will live alongside the normal showdown offering for those particular games, but there'll be a special contest that's larger than any other contest we're running during those individual games, and again, only accessible by way of having these international set cards in your collection or in your lineup.
Awesome. I think you just answered the other question that came in there, so well done, you're ahead of me.
There we go.
Let's jump on to crafting then.
Sure.
So someone was asking, how does the crafting set fit into this?
Sure. So similar to the question around wired, we didn't continue to have a crafting set here in 2023 like we did in 22. Instead, what we'll have crafting recipes that pay out in the form of cards from the 3 premium headline sets that we've discussed to this point. So when you finish a crafting or trade-in recipe, the output will be a card or a pack that contains player cards from the play action set or the rush set or the aired out set or one of our side sets. So ultimately, we'll still be distributing the same amount of overall inventory via crafting as we did in our original plans, which is approximately 10% of the 2023 inventory, which follows a similar script to what we were able to do in our PGA Tour and UFC offerings. We'll be doing the same thing here for 2023 football. It's just that there won't be a set that's specific to that particular channel. Instead, there'll be cards that are coming from the other 3 sets to be able to fulfill those recipes.
Nice. I'm going to jump into the play action set. So part of the utility for the play action set is special access to the Reignmakers World Championship qualifiers. How will that work?
Sure, yeah. So as Vince mentioned earlier in the show, we're really excited to run back the Reignmaker World Championship here in 2023. Similar to last year, there'll be $1 million up for grabs at a location to be announced. But we're really excited to run it back this year. Just like last year, we'll be hosting 40 qualifier contests throughout the season to determine who gets to attend this event. There will also be a section of, or a portion of those qualifiers given away via franchise score, just like last year. But of the 40 qualifiers that we run via contest, 20 of those contests, half of the 40 that we run, will require some ownership from the play action set, whether that's in your lineup itself or via portfolio gating. It'll depend on the qualifier, but we'll have different rules all surrounding the play action set in order to access 20 of those 40 qualifiers in the 2023 season.
Awesome. I think I might have a spicy one for you here.
I love it.
I know. Someone wants to know, are there any changes in how cards can be played up when it comes to rarity, or any new limitations or rule changes when it comes to
No, in 2023 we did take a look at it, and we ultimately decided to keep the rules the same in terms of rarity gating and rarity requirements for each of the different tiers. Similar to last year, you'll be able to use starter cards, no different from core cards, and the requirements for core and rare will be the same, and the same for Elite, Legendary, and Rainmaker as well. So I don't have the chart in front of me, but we will share that following today's announcement. It's the same as last year. It's no difference from 2022.
Okay, a couple of ones we can dive into here as well. So you and I were here on week 1 last year. It feels like so long ago now, but we did an amazing promotion that year where we did double pricing on week 1, and then week 2 we did double cards pricing as week 2. Do we plan on doing anything like that this year?
Yeah, so the plan for this year is to actually keep the pricing consistent week over week. And really the main driver there, we didn't want to front load too much of our pricing and be in a position where the change in underlying card collection value would drop faster than it would if it were smoothed out throughout the season. So it's a really cool way to kick off the first year, the very first offering of Reignmakers in week 1 of the 2022 season. But for 2023, we're going to keep the total prizes pretty consistent week over week with some changes in terms of which rarity tier those dollars fall into, as Vince alluded to earlier. As far as the actual card prizes, though, we are very excited about this. I know we haven't gone into detail here, and it's where we're still working through the actual final details, but can definitely say that year over year there will be an overall increase in the total number of cards awarded within the contest that we offer. It'll be at least 10%. It could be more than that. We're still working through the details there, and that's on top of the fact that we'll be introducing card-based pricing in the 2022 contest offering that is equal to what we offer in 2023. So we're effectively doubling the amount of cards that are available for pricing in the contest that we offer across both the different collections, which is really exciting.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question, but first part of it is, we're friends, right?
Sure.
Actually,
depends on what comes in via the Discord on a day-to-day basis. But yes, right now we're friends. We're friends, Daylight.
Very true. This question is more related to pricing.
Sure.
But I know that you're very well involved in that, and you can probably help explain this a bit more because
sure.
Literally everybody's asking us right now across YouTube and across Discord. And the question is, what drove the decision to reduce the cash pricing from 27 million in 2022 to 22.4 million in 2023? I don't think we quite landed it well the first time we're trying. Let's see if we can help.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely a great question, and I think one of the biggest things here to keep in mind is that right off the bat, we're introducing over $2 million in prizes dedicated to the 2022 collection. So we're no longer selling 2022 collection cards, right? So there's really not a revenue, tied to the ability to supply pricing to that collection. But we did want to make sure those cards continue to hold value and reward those early adopters. And it'll be something we do going forward as well in future seasons, that we have, prior year cards available for contests. So right there, we had to take some of our pricing allocation to support that contest offering throughout the season. As you showed earlier, we're dedicating 100,000 per week in pricing to that lane. Additionally, we've ramped up the amount of what we've called special contests in 2023. So things like the popular Holiday Millionaire comeback, the contest for the holiday Christmas contest that we ran last year will be back. We also have this 500,000 that we're offering for the international set, the 500,000 that we can unlock with the Rush set, and some other special contests that we're offering there. We're also increasing the amount of dollars that we're going to be awarding by way of DFS contest pricing. So the satellites to DFS contests will be larger this year than last year. If you remember, at this point last year, we had guaranteed that $27 million in pricing. This year it's 30 million. So while it's not as big of a top line for the individual GPPs that we run for the 2023 season, On the whole, we are keeping the pricing on par, if not slightly larger than 2022, and again, increasing the card-based pricing in 23 as well.
Thank you. I'm going to bring us back to sets, though, because I know you're very, we're no longer friends now, I can feel it. So do all side set and hunt set cards hold season-long utility? Can cards from the hunt set, that's the Royal, International, etc., be used in any of the Rainmaker contests?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. So all the cards that show up in these side or hunt sets will act just like regular Rainmaker cards as it pertains to our normal contest offering. So if you have a rare card from the Royal set and you want to enter a rare contest with that card, you're more than welcome to do so. And then in addition to having that in-contest utility, it also provides that season-long utility that these individual sets bring with them. So they act just like any other card with a superpower on top of it.
Awesome. I'm going to give you 2 more questions.
Sure.
I know last year we kind of got called out a couple of times for this, so it'd be great to give an answer here. But what will happen with any unsold inventory if a drop window ends prior to like a full sellout?
Yeah, so that's a great question. This is something we've thought a lot about over the off season. So really kind of a two-pronged answer here. One is that just off the top, one thing we really want to be good about in 2023 is having very defined start and end dates of every pack drop that we bring to market. So there's not this kind of indefinite, this is going to sit on site, maybe we'll do like a discount or whatever. Like we're going to have a start date and an end date for every drop. So that'll be the first piece. As part of that announced start and end date for each drop, we'll also be committing to the community exactly what our intentions are for any unsold inventory. Depending on the drop, this could range from, hey, we might burn all the unsold inventory, or it could be that we'll take unsold inventory and make it available to crafting trade-in recipes or contest prizing. One of the things we really want to lean into this year is if folks purchase a drop and the drop doesn't sell out, that unsold inventory in some cases will be available only to people who purchased from that initial drop. So we're kind of keeping it, in that same group of individuals. We may repurpose some of the inventory for future drops. But again, no matter what our plans are for every individual drop, we'll be sure to describe and get that out there at the time of the drop's announcement itself. So there's no surprises. When that drop window closes, you'll know exactly what was going to happen to the unsold inventory, provided there is any.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification. Question, and that's more for me than anyone else. They're wondering when the daylightcat set will be going on sale.
That would be an awesome side set. We should totally collaborate on this. I'm sure you saw last year daylightcat, the Deadfellas side set and the Pixel Vault side set. We've got some really cool artistic side sets out there. I think we could work in a cartoon cat at some point. We'll have to get in touch with the designers and get back to everyone on that one.
Make my day. Okay, last question for you.
Sure.
Actually, not really a question. You've got the community watching right now. What question would you like to ask them?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I think really the biggest question that I would have for the community is just of the different things that we've been trying out over the last year, and we've tried a lot and a lot more coming down the pike. What are some of the things that they've seen, whether it's in the physical card world or in, competitor sites, or even some of our existing verticals that they'd love to see kind of get woven into the DNA of Reignmakers football? And, we have no shortage of ideas ourselves, but would love to, be more collaborative with the broader community on some of the ideas and the initiatives that we bring into things like set design or contest design. And, really just kind of would love to hear more on that front, and I'm sure you hear plenty on that front. But continue to bring those things in, because I think we've heard a lot and we've reacted to a lot of it, but there's never enough great ideas coming from the community. So just keep those coming.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matt. I know that I gave you a pretty tough question in there, but I just want to say the community are calling out at what an exceptional answer you gave for that. So thank you for addressing it. Much
awesome.
Appreciated.
Great.
So yeah, much appreciate your time. We've got one last topic to go now, and then at 5 p.m. Eastern, I do believe that those fine folks that were holding field passes last night are able to go off and review their field passes, which is exciting. I can't wait to see that. But excellent. Next topic,
great.
Field pass.
Thank you to the community.
We also know the community is eager to learn about the 2023 Field Pass, which just like last season, are available in all 5 tiers, from core to Reignmakers.
Field Pass holders will receive a top tier player with that player card's rarity dependent on the tier of the Field Pass held.
Field Pass holders will also receive preferred access to premium drops and rebates on all primary pack drops, which will vary based on the rarity of the Field Pass. And our 2022 Field Pass holders will be the first ones to get a crack at purchasing 2023 Field Pass. That access begins right after the Q&A.
That's right. Preferred access is live today and will last for 2 days. The remaining 2023 Field Passes will be made open to the public. The remaining core, rare, and elite Field Passes will be available for purchase, while there will be options for legendary and Reignmaker tier Field Passes.
These passes are non-sellable, with some benefits stackable, like franchise score value and receiving a top player.
But you have to act fast on these because this is the only time of year you can add Field Passes to your collection for 2023. You do not want to miss out on these.
That's for sure, Nick. Now let's get to some of the other benefit details for each tier in the Q&A.
Right, well, we have our friend Vince back once again to talk about Field Passes and taking the questions. No pressure, Vince, but there's a lot of questions coming through about these bad boys.
Sounds good, daylightcat. I know people are really excited about this one.
All right, here we go. First question, we're going to dive straight in with this one. What happened to the free bets, Vince? I lost you again.
Apologies. Could you repeat that for me?
What's happened to the free bets that we used to offer for the 2022 Field Passes?
So for 2023, we wanted to kind of streamline the amount of benefits that came with the passes. We feel like we put together a very strong package of benefits across the 5 different rarity tiers. Free bets is not one of the items that is coming with the 2023 passes, but we hope that everybody really enjoys kind of the more consolidated and focused package that we have for 2023.
Awesome. I'm seeing some questions around tier credit boosts as well. So the community are wondering, will tier credit boosts from Field Passes occur on a monthly basis, or will it be automatic as and when they make their transactions?
So this one's got a little bit nuanced answer. I think the hope, especially on my end from the operations side, is that we will be able to automate this process, still working through some of the details on that. To the extent that we cannot, it will be monthly payouts, similar to what players are used to now with the Crowns Boost payouts structure for the 2022 version of the Field Pass. So we'll confirm that one, but still kind of ironing out the details. And the hope is to automate as much as we can.
I'm definitely saving the spiciest question for last. Keep going with these others first. Someone's looking for clarification on one of the communications that we put out there. We said all primary 2023 Reignmaker football purchases are eligible for like the rebate. What do we mean by that? Does that apply to all purchases regardless of how many Field Passes are held, or is there only a limited amount of purchases per Field Pass?
Sure. So for 2023, the rebate is actually not dependent upon the number of passes you own. So whatever the highest tier pass, or if you own one pass, whatever that pass is, that's the rebate percentage that gets applied to all 2023 Reignmakers football primary drops. Not inclusive of auctions, not inclusive of secondary sales. We're not talking about crafting tokens or some of those other things, but mainly focused on the 2023 Reignmakers football collection drops. That rebate percentage will apply to all primary purchases while supplies last. So we think it's a really exciting benefit. You don't necessarily need to hold a ton of different passes to focus on that one in particular. There are some other benefits, such as the players from the play action set, which will benefit players that have multiple field passes, either at different tiers or focused in one. But the rebate, you only need one pass, and whatever the highest tier pass you have, that percentage will be the one that applies.
Awesome. I'm hearing word that one of our community members, Krieg, is going to buy you a beer for that answer, so that's a good one. So looking back at our 2022 field passes, the community are kind of looking for clarification on if they'll continue to hold any utility now or if they're just a collector's item.
So the short answer there would be collector's item. At this point, there is one remaining housekeeping item, which will be paying out the final crowns boost. We'll do at the beginning of August for July purchases, but after that, effectively, the renewal, I think, is the last big benefit. So that preferred access starting at 5 o'clock today for those that were holding their 2022 field passes as of midnight yesterday.
Right, and I know this will be your favorite subject, swag. Do we have any news or word on swag with these field passes?
Swag, my favorite topic. So I think it's helpful to kind of be honest with something like swag. I think we tried to put together a very nice swag package for everybody that had the 2022 field passes, and there were different things that came with each one. Executionally, and some customers unfortunately might have understood this. It was a little bit difficult for us to fulfill and track, and there were some unfortunate situations with things that got lost in the mail or people that had broken neon signs. So ultimately, the goal with the design of the 2023 field pass and kind of the absence of swag included in that general idea is that we want the pass to feel special. And we want everyone to get very strong benefits out of that pass, and we want to try to avoid things where friction will arise. And the distribution of swag was one of those items where we saw a lot of friction, and we thought that it kind of detracted more from the pass. So we're kind of focusing on the core things that we think we can execute really well this season.
I've got 3 more questions for you. Looking at the 2023 field passes, let's start with the stackable and unstackable rewards, the benefits. Sorry. Do you want to kind of go into a little bit of details as to what benefits are stackable and which ones are not?
Yep. So not going to jump too much into the rebate one. I feel like we already touched on that. So you only need one pass, and whatever the highest tier pass is, that will determine the rebate percentage. The player card will be 1 per pass, so that is a stackable benefit. For example, if you have 1 core pass and 1 rare pass, you'll be receiving 1 rare player pack and 1 core player pack. So that is a stackable benefit. The tier credit or crowns boost, depending on the pass that you are holding, that one is also 1 per pass, and the highest tier pass, or not 1 per pass, apologies. That is defaults to the highest tier pass, similar to the rebate. Franchise score will also be stackable, and we're doing this in a slightly different way this season. So instead of it being a percentage multiplier on top of your total franchise score, it's going to be a flat point bonus that is applied. So for each field pass that you own, you will get you will receive that flat point bonus for each pass. So that is a stackable benefit as well.
Awesome. All right, and you want to get into a little bit about the ability to renew 2023 cards in 2024, or the lack of. Have you lost me again?
Yes. Could you repeat that? Sorry,
okay.
I heard 2024.
I will repeat that for you, Vince. Yeah. So the right to renewal in 2024 and 2023 field passes. Do you want to kind of get into that a little bit and explain our decision making there and what's going to happen there?
So going to be a little bit ambiguous, but I hope that our players can kind of appreciate where this is coming from. So last year we recognized including right to renew in the initial 2022 Field Pass chart the way that we did kind of set expectations for some of our players in terms of what that meant and what types of benefits would be included with the 2023 iteration of the Field Pass. For 2024, we want to take a fresh look at the Field Pass program design. May involve no changes at all, may involve some more drastic changes, but we think not kind of explicitly coming out with a right to renew committed in a certain way. Our players kind of expect certain things. We just want to set that expectation from day one here, that there may be some changes to the program for 2024, with the ultimate goal of providing the best customer experience possible. But we didn't want to set that expectation here for this season.
Okay, a couple more live questions that have just come in. Someone's looking for clarification on if they hold a crown and a tier boost, do they get both boosted or just the tier?
So it will default to the highest tier pass held. So for example, I think the rare tier pass still has the crown boost, and the elite tier pass is the first pass where you see the tier credit boost come into play. That player would default to getting the tier credit boost.
And do we have any plans for gated contests for 2023 Field Pass holders?
So we do have we do have kind of our special prizing bucket, and there may be opportunities for some gated contests throughout the season. Nothing that I want to detract from the existing benefit package that we have out there for 2023, but I would say that that is something that's on the table.
Okay, and here's a big one for you. Why are 2023 Field Passes not sellable on the secondary market this year?
Yes, so this of course is a tough one for some of our customers, understandably so. But the objective for DraftKings here is to provide clear and consistent benefits of these passes to the purchaser for the entire season, and we think having the pass be non-sellable is the best way to do that. That's kind of the first point. So a lot of the understandable friction that occurred for some users last year was there was a lot of different snapshot times for certain benefits. Depending on when somebody purchased their 2022 Field Pass, they might have gotten slightly different benefits, such as missing out on the initial player card airdrop, or maybe it was right after Genesis sold and they missed out on preferred access for a particular drop, so they bought the pass expecting it to be one thing, and they got slightly different benefits than what they were expecting. So we want to avoid that scenario. We want everybody to understand these are the benefits that you're going to get all season long once you purchase one of these Field Passes, and that'll be a consistent experience for anybody that holds one. So we think that's step one. The other item that was kind of alluded to earlier, daylightcat, was we want to try to automate some of these things a little bit more. Some of our existing Field Pass holders may notice that certain payouts of certain things occur at varying times. We try to keep things on a pretty tight schedule, but sometimes there's varying customer experiences for some of those pieces of some of those benefits. So we want to try to automate as much as we can, and having them not change hands once we get past the kind of 8/11 or whenever Field Passes sell out, whichever sooner. We can really start automating some of the different benefits for these passes. So I think that would be exciting too. So instead of having to wait until the end of a day or the end of a month, some of these things might be able to occur in hopefully real time.
Amazing. All right, we made it through, Vince. That was the last question. We did it. Our first ever keynote. It was a fun one. We definitely tried to cover all the questions that the community have put forward to us, but any that we didn't, please just again keep sharing them in the Discord, etc., and we will continue to build that list and share with the team as well. But yeah, come join us in Discord, basically, if you haven't already. And don't forget, at 5 p.m. Eastern, those field passes will be up for sale for those that have the right to renew. And we have a lot more details yet to come as well that we'll be sharing across DK Network, across Discord, and of course our Reignmakers pages as well. So thank you everyone that came forward and answered questions. Thank you for asking those questions, and thank you for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to host this and share this with you, and I look forward to seeing your feedback in the Discord. Have a great night, everyone.